Welcome back to BRMC's Healthy Connections, one of our last shows of 2012. So I'm real honored that Kathy and Lori have decided to join us today and talk to us about hospice. What's happened this year? What's been going on in 2012?
We've had a busy year. Of course, we had Greg Wood, our new executive director, join us. We had Phil Thompson retire after 27 years of service.
Oh my goodness.
And then we've had a lot of just events. We've had our Ride for Life, our Float for Life. Both of those took place in October. And we've just had an exciting year, a lot of new things. We had, in March, we had our gala, which is our yearly fundraiser. And then we have been planning and revamping that since that time. So in 2013, it's going to look completely different.
Oh, good. We'll talk about that after the break. And Kathy, what are you doing with all your volunteers that you coordinate? How many volunteers do you have, do you think?
We have about 100.
Oh, my goodness.
But those people that do something maybe for us, you know, weekly or kind of that core group are about 75.
That's still a huge number of volunteers. We're so lucky in this town.
We are so blessed. And I think part of that being a nonprofit hospice, they see giving back and what it means for us, for not only the community, but for our hospice. Hospice is regulated by Medicare that 5% of the direct patient care hours have to be volunteer for us to get Medicare reimbursement. So we can show our volunteers the cost savings that they
what their time really translates into dollars and cents.
We can show them dollars and cents. And so many of the volunteers talk about that they get more out of the experience than they think they're giving to those individuals. And about 90% of our volunteers are family members or have had hospice affect their life, and so they want to give back in some way.
Because it truly affected them, and they know the incredible benefit of having a hospice here in our area, and that lovely hospice house.
And the hospice house, we have a volunteer at the front desk at the reception area from 7:30 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night. We change them out occasionally, give them a potty break, some of those things. But they typically do 2 to 4 hour increments, and so that takes several people to take that on and to keep that going. And of course, we have Barbara Millette down at the hospice house, who's one of our key volunteers, and that she is just so passionate about hospice, and she was awarded volunteer of the month from the governor's office this year.
What a nice award. What a great honor.
And it was July, is that?
In July, and then we'll be looking in 2013 to see if she wins volunteer
for the year.
Wow.
She's nominated for that. So
what a true blessing to have her, and what an honor for what she's already received. That's a great.
Absolutely. She's given
well.
so many years, and we have so many volunteers that are so passionate, and they just are our hands and feet and eyes and ears, and just do so much for us. And I tell people all the time, I have the best job in the world. I call someone and ask if they want to do something, and they say, sure.
Now, do they help take care of, there's a PEP program that you have?
Yes, Pet Peace of Mind.
Pet Peace of Mind. And explain that for just a little bit. That's something that would be near and dear to my heart if I were
able to volunteer yet. Yes, we've got a slot for you when you retire.
I know it's coming.
We may have a pet for her.
We might have a pet for you. You never know. Pet Peace of Mind is started out as a grant program from the Banfield Charitable Trust, which is a national program, and we are the first hospice in the state of Arkansas to be a grantee to receive money from them. We're in our 3rd year. And we now support that ourselves through fundraising. So that's the money that we raise also goes to help that as a portion of that. And what we do is we help hospice patients keep their pets at home as long as possible, and then also look to place them if there's not a family member or someone that's able to home the animal. Then we look to help them rehome. Some of the ways that we've used the pet program, of course, is for grooming. A pet that feels bad, you can tell the difference. Those dogs that need to be groomed, or cats. I didn't know that cats were groomed until we did this program.
We recently had that.
We recently, took a cat to be groomed. But it means a whole lot to that patient. When that pet feels better, you can see them just perk up. And Miss Benny was our first person that was a recipient of it, and when Trixie was around and feeling good, she definitely was a reflection of Benny. We have one of the ways that I didn't consider until we had this program, we helped to board some animals after a death, as a death was occurring, and then as there were all those people in the house and all those things going on, they were used to being boarded, for vacations.
What a great idea! Yeah,
made a huge difference
because otherwise they'd be scared.
They were little dogs that were They were kind of high strung, and the family had more than they could handle. They needed to know that those animals were comfortable, were somewhere safe and secure, and then also it gave them the chance to reintroduce those animals into the home with it being different. Not to force them too soon, and to give them a chance to do that. And so I hadn't really considered that. But we help with pet food if the family's not able to. We have a lot of patients who have elderly animals, and they need shots,
vet care,
the vet care. And Rob Connor out at All Creatures is our advisory vet. He is phenomenal. His staff is great. We've had to call them at 4:45 and say, I've got this animal that I need to board, and I don't know anything about it. And they're just so helpful and have done such a great
good
job.
Hearts.
Oh,
absolutely good
great
hearts.
Yeah.
Sometimes family members need respite and need, we can utilize the hospice house if a caregiver needs respite for their loved one that's on hospice, but sometimes families need respite from their animals as well, that they may have things going on, and to be able to utilize boarding and things like that is important.
Oh, very, because these become, they become our kids.
Well, they do.
Sure.
And Miss Benny that she referred to, Trixie was her family. She did not have any family locally, and that dog was as important to her as a human being next to her, and a constant companion.
Yes.
So for us to not see that and not offer services and acknowledge that and work with Trixie, that would have not been providing full service to Benny. That would have been leaving out an important part.
It's a huge part of who she was.
Yeah. And her anxiety levels and stress levels and everything else would have.
When Trixie was groomed, Miss Benny was groomed. I mean, it was like there was a difference in both of them, and it was just.
She was the reason that Benny got out of bed in the morning, was to feed Trixie and let Trixie out. And I mean, Trixie was there whether she, when she had a breathing attack or whatever it was. She was there and accepted her the way she was, and so she was
absolutely unconditional love.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They just love you no matter what.
Oh yeah,
and care about you. So
well, see, I have one that gets mad at me occasionally. So yes, if I'm not doing something right that he approves of.
Well, yeah, Tammy, one of our nurses, took in a Mei Ling, this beautiful Pekingese.
I was going to say Siamese cat. Okay, go ahead.
I know. Mei Ling,
she
is a diva.
Oh my!
She is just something else. And Tammy comes in and tells us about Mei Ling, and I guess she'll just sit there and howl at you until you do what she wants you to do.
Until you acknowledge her, and
until you acknowledge where she is and what she's doing. And
I have a little one pretty similar to that. Yeah. I don't know. He'd be a Devo. So
there you go. There you go.
Oh,
but yeah, they're sweet, but just mean so much to us. And you can just you can tell the difference when you introduce an animal or music or babies, or it's just a different feeling.
Do you allow pets at the hospice house?
Absolutely, we have since the day that we
actually
opened.
encourage it,
I think
because
that's
again,
wonderful.
it's allowing the patient to make hospice house their home for the time that they're there, and to incorporate the entire family, whether it be two-legged or four-legged. And then we also have pet therapy at the hospice house, and we have 2 pet therapy dogs that visit regularly and just bring their personalities in. And
there's nothing better than the soft coat of a dog or a cat.
And they're so different. We have Chloe, who's a little petite Bichon Frise, and so she's this little white puffball. She's just, and she's always groomed to the T's, and she's just, and she's soft. And then we have Sam, who is a bearded collie, who is disheveled all the time. That's just his look.
Yeah.
And he actually won an award in 2012 for a bearded collie in the nation, having the most
Service hours.
Service hours.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
You have so much going on there. And thank goodness you went after that grant 3 years ago.
Yeah,
they're
it made so much sense for us. And of course, at the time, Phil was our executive director, and he's an animal kind of guy too. And so when we saw that, and our board just thought it was a great thing to do, so we jumped on board for that.
Good for you. That's something I've seen in effect in nursing homes and certainly in hospice. So it's a wonderful idea. So. We need to take a short commercial break, but we'll be right back. We want to hear about what's going on in hospice in 2013. So don't go away. We'll be right back.